What you're about to hear is a very shocking clip from an Alberta, Canada teacher at a school called Londonderry. But I need to issue a trigger warning because in this clip from a public school teacher, you will hear hate, you will hear intolerance, you will hear bigotry, and you will hear xenophobia. Remember that this clip was said in a Canadian public school classroom. This is Canada, folks. Let's hear this clip.
Well, I'll tell you, you are out to lunch. If you think it's acceptable to not show up because you think that there's some pride activities going on at school, right? Oh, that's fine. You know, because I'm going to show my opinion by hanging out at the mall. But meanwhile, all of those kids who are, involved in, say, the Gay Straight Alliance or whatever, I don't even know if we have that anymore in our school, they're here when we did Ramadan for Lion Time, and they're showing respect in the class for your religion, right, for your beliefs. It goes two ways. If you want to be respected for who you are, if you don't want to suffer prejudice for your religion, your color of skin, your whatever, then you better give it back to people who are different from you. That's how it works. It's an exchange. And it isn't like that in all countries. As I told you, in Uganda, literally, if they think you're gay, they will execute you. If you believe that kind of thing, then you don't belong here. Because that is not what Canada believes. We believe in freedom. We believe that people can marry whomever they want. That is in the law. And if you don't think that should be the law, you can't be Canadian. You don't belong here. And I mean it. I really mean it. And it's not a joke, Mansour. I said back and forth. You want it, you got to give it. It just makes me angry. Sorry, I'm a little worked up.
This is shocking because our Canadian culture has focused so much on diversity is strength. Here's Justin Trudeau speaking at a convocation, and here his flagship statements.
Whether it's race, gender, language, sexual orientation, or religious or ethnic origin, or our beliefs and values themselves, diversity doesn't have to be a weakness. It can be our greatest strength.
What was shocking about such an incident was this news article was really only covered by maybe right-wing or central news stations. It wasn't touched at all by CBC because of the whole content of what was said here. This controversy was covered by City News, entitled Edmonton Teacher Berates Muslim Students for Skipping Pride Events. Edmonton Public Schools say it's taking action against the teacher but wouldn't specify what, claiming privacy concerns. EPSB adds it continues to tout diversity and discussion about inclusion, acceptance, and kindness. In a statement, the National Council of Canadian Muslims called the teacher's comments deeply Islamophobic, inappropriate, and harassing. They said this is unacceptable. While we know that the school administration has apologized for this behavior, we will be following up to determine what steps are being taken to challenge hate and discrimination. What this clip represents is the intolerance of the tolerant. And I put tolerant in quotations. What this means is that we have people who tout and preach tolerance in almost everything, but when you disagree with them, then they get very intolerant. It also means that those that preach tolerance, equity, inclusion, do not really believe it themselves, because the voice that you just heard on that clip is not touting equality, inclusion, and tolerance. These sorts of people claim to be tolerant, but they want you to conform to their ideology, their way of thinking, and their life. Canada has been in this sick and demented place for a while, where just tolerance of everything until we as a culture deem your beliefs are not to be tolerated. What is the Christian response to such a situation? Christians obviously disagree with Muslims on many essential items, many essential truths, but we do agree on the issue of marriage. Both Islam and, of course, Christianity both declare that marriage is between one man and one woman, and we get that from Genesis 1:26 and 1:27. God made male and female. He made them in his image. And then in Genesis chapter 2, verses 24 to 26, we see about the marriage union between a husband and a wife, or a man and a woman. Here we see two genders are created, and marriage is for one man and one woman. And we see that clearly in Genesis chapter 1 and Genesis chapter 2 as well. That idea is confirmed by Jesus Christ in the Gospels. The culture should never dictate what we believe about marriage. We don't get our cues as Christians from society and say, well, society says this is acceptable, therefore it is acceptable. No, we as Christians, we as followers of the Lord, get our direction, our guidance for marriage from God himself, which we see in the Word of God. This teacher is the voice of hate and bigotry, but she is not alone in our Canadian culture. Christian, now's the time to stand up for the biblical truth of marriage, of gender, of sexuality. And let's do it all to the glory of the Lord. Thanks for watching, and God bless.